OK, folks, so here we have a qualified veterinary surgeon of good standing with a clean record.
Which means nothing.
And a convicted murderer with serious mental disorder.
It was accidental manslaughter. Let's at least try to be accurate.
Yeah, for all the difference that makes. Look, she's already ended one life, and now she's trying to destroy another. Are we going to be complicit in that?
Remind me exactly who is on trial here.
Abusers are very good at playing the victim, pulling the wool over people's eyes.
Right, and isn't that just what Tom's doing?
Yeah, except that I don't think you're talking about Tom, are you? I see. Regardless, Belle is the principal witness here. Look, the question we have to ask ourselves is whether a convicted killer with a history of extreme medical instability can be considered a reliable witness.
Everyone has a past.
Well, we certainly know about Belle's.
Not so much Tom's.
We can only go on what we're presented in court.
Right, but if we keep getting hung up on events long past, we're doing exactly what Tom's defence wants.
So what do you suggest?
I suggest we go back to their actual relationship.
I don't know about anyone else, but I'm having a hard time trying to get it all straight.
What about we work out a clear order of events, starting with the increasing incidence of physical violence?
Alleged incident.
We were trying for a baby. At least that's what I thought until I found out that she was still taking the pill. To say I was upset would be an understatement. Trust is everything in a relationship. But to claim I held her hand under a scalding hot tap... I'm sorry, no.
He knew the tap was hot. I told him to stop that. It was burning me.
The moment I heard her scream, I reached across to turn off the tap, but it was already too late. Clearly, neither of us had realized just how hot the water was.
And he made out like it was all my fault. Like he hadn't deliberately just scalded my hand, but he had.
Anyway, afterwards, I turned the boiler thermostat down to make sure it didn't happen again.
The dog was Tom's idea. I didn't even want a dog. Not at first. He set up a camera in the house to keep an eye on Piper whilst we were out. But he was also using it to listen into my conversations when he wasn't there. And when I found out, I told him that he needed to get help. And he got so angry. He punched me in the stomach.
I did not hit her. Simple as that. Just a lot of shouting, mainly from Belle.
The 23rd of May this year. I believe that day marked 5 years since your mother's passing. Must have stirred up some difficult emotions.
I had a performance review with my bosses that day.
He was really stressed about it. Hormonal twerps. That's what he called them.
We all vent our stress in different ways.
There was a parcel he wanted me to wait in for. Anyway, I missed it and he was furious.
But this day stands out for one reason in particular. Unlike each of your allegations against the defendant, there were, in fact, witnesses present when you physically attacked Mr. King.
I was just so upset. The things he'd said about my mum, it was so cruel.
It was in the heat of the moment. But that's no excuse. The parcel I'd asked Belle to wait in for was meant to be a surprise, and what I knew was going to be a very difficult day. Anyway, that's when I realized I needed to just walk away.
But rather than letting him go, you instead ran after the defendant and shoved him to the ground, as Mr. King's employers and members of your own family witnessed. Your emotions took over, and it resulted in you losing control. And not for the first time. Isn't that right?
All I wanted was for us to be able to put it behind us. But it was pretty clear that we couldn't do that on our own. So I arranged some counseling for Belle. And that's when she told me that she'd already got in contact with her mental health crisis team.
But hang on. Not a single one of Belle's allegations can be backed up by any other witnesses.
He said, she said.
Exactly. The only incident that can be corroborated by anyone else is when Belle, true to form, loses her temper and shoves Tom, which is exactly what happened to Gemma Andrews.
Shouldn't you be more balanced, Mr. Foreman?
Facts are facts. The rest is just hearsay.
Are you married, Carl?
Sorry, what's that got to do with anything?
No, nothing. I just noticed your wedding ring, that's all, and just wondered if you applied the same blunt reasoning to your own relationship.
Well, we've been together for 22 years. I think we do all right.
Can't speak for your wife, though, can you?
I wouldn't dream of it. But so far, she's not stuck an axe in my back, so there's that.
After the relationship had ended, must have been a relief when Tom finally seemed to have left the village.
Not exactly, no. Because he was with Amelia at this point. So I was worried who was going to do to her what he did to me.
So, when Miss Spencer wished to talk in private...
I thought she'd finally seen through his act. But instead of Amelia turning up, it was Tom. And he locked the door behind him and took the key.
I just wanted to talk. As difficult as it was, I was trying to move on with my life, and clearly Belle couldn't do the same.
He then attacked me. Physically. And then made a coffee. Like it was nothing. And that's when I grabbed the shotgun.
Suddenly she's pointing it right at me.
I wasn't going to shoot him. I just wanted him to give me the key so I could get out of there.
She got herself into such a state. I don't even think she knew what she was doing.
I just ran. I knew he was coming for me.
I couldn't exactly leave her like that. She still had the shotgun. Who knows what could have happened?
I hid in my brother's flat. And I blocked the door with a chair, but he had an axe. And he just smashed his way through.
I am sorry, but there was no axe. I just pushed the door open, and there she was, pointing the shotgun at me again. Only this time, she pulls the trigger.
He had an axe.
Luckily for me, the safety was still on. I managed to get the gun from her before anyone got hurt, or so I thought.
He wasn't even angry anymore. It was worse than that. He was getting off on how scared I was, and if I hadn't... You weren't there. You didn't see what he was like.
I turned to leave. And then suddenly there was this axe in my back.
I don't even remember picking it up. He was going to kill me. I was sure of it.